I'm sorry, I don't play accurately. Sentiment is my forte. I keep science for life. Yes, cucumber sandwiches cut for Lady Bracknell.
Well, the significance of this production of The Importance of Being Earnest for NI Opera really was that we are a very young company for an opera company. We're only 4 years old. In that time, we put on a lot of productions in Northern Ireland and in the Republic, 12 productions in fact. And our mission from the start has been to offer opportunities to young talent on the island of Ireland to produce work which is consistently of a high quality and to do work which is edgy and imaginative. And really for us, The Importance of Being Earnest is the kind of perfect piece. It's exciting, it's a dynamic work written by maybe Ireland's leading contemporary composer, based on a play by one of the finest writers that Ireland has produced. And in that sense, doing this particular project ticked a lot of boxes for us.
I think for Wide Open Opera, The Importance of Being Earnest was an incredibly significant project. We've only been in existence since 2012. This happened in 2013, so it's one of our early projects. We had started with Tristan and Isolde. We'd ended a concert performance of The Alma Fetish by Raymond Dean, but this was the first time we'd entered into a new production of an opera, and we did it in partnership with NI Opera, obviously, and that partnership was very strong. We established a very good working relationship, and I was terrifically excited to be involved in a new production led obviously by Antony McDonald, who directed and designed. The vision behind it, the process of casting, of putting the orchestra together and the entire team, that was really exciting for us, and it was great for us to be able to offer that to the public and say, look, here is something incredibly vital and energetic and exciting and new.
Yes, my idea has always been to love someone of the name of Earnest. There is something in that name that inspires absolute confidence. Oh, the gentleman mentioned that he had a friend called Earnest. I knew I was destined to love you.
You really love me, Gwendolyn.
Passionately,
Darling.
my Earnest.
It also offered us a chance to collaborate with an organisation in the Republic, and if there's one thing which we're about, it's about collaboration. And in this case, our collaborator was Wide Open Opera, which is based in Dublin. Again, quite a new company. And for us, the feature of opera is not just to do things in an exciting way with exciting performers, but also collaboration and partnership. And I think increasingly companies all over the world are finding that they need to form these partnerships to make whatever projects they're doing viable. And of course that particularly goes for modern opera, where the risk is that much greater.
I think the North-South collaboration was very important for this particular production. We had 2 cities in the north and 2 cities in the south. And what was incredibly important about that, I think, from our perspective, was the fact that we could lay down a marker and say, we believe in this opera, and we believe this is how opera can be produced, that we can enter a partnership with NI Opera, go through all the negotiations and the discussions, still, come out at the other end with a fantastic project that performs in the north and in the south. And for us to be able to say, well, look, this is a way that high quality Irish opera can be produced, and to be able to demonstrate that to the Arts Council in the south and to other funders has been incredibly important.
I also think that The Importance of Being Earnest as a production was a step forward for us in terms of some of the personnel that were involved. Antony McDonald, who I've known for a while, is for me one of the finest and one of the most exciting designers in the world, and he's also a really fantastic director, and it's very rare to have that combination of the director-designer producing work of the quality that Antony produces. So that has been internationally recognised, and to get someone of that calibre to work on this production for us was extremely thrilling. And also our conductor, Pierre-André Villard, he is a conductor who has an extraordinary track record in contemporary and new work. So for us, the significance of being able to use people of that quality, of that calibre, meant it really was a step on for us from previous work, and I think that the audience reaction demonstrated that.
I would strongly advise you, Mr. Barry, to try and acquire some relations as soon as possible, and to make a definite effort to produce, at any rate, one parent of either sex before the season is quite over.
Well, in 2010, Thomas Ades and the Los Angeles Philharmonic asked me to do something, and there were various projects in mind, but the one that I settled on was The Importance of Being Earnest.
The Importance of Being Earnest is a wonderfully written satirical comedy, absolutely enhanced to perfection, I think, by Irish composer Gerald Barry. It features a host of very colourful characters who reflect the society of the time and the ridiculousness of their situation and social climbing, with reference to money being very important and in status. And the role that I played in this opera was Cecily Cardew, who's a young girl in her teenage years. She is set to inherit a large fortune in the future, and therefore she knows she is a woman of standing and power. She lives a lot in her own world. She writes in her diary, and her main aim is to meet the man of her dreams on her terms.
Well, my own dear, sweet, loving little darling, I really can't see why you should object to the name of Algernon. Cecily, if my name was Algie, couldn't you love me?
As an Irish singer, to be involved in such a successful production was really thrilling, and it was a real delight and an honour to be able to take part and be part of something that we knew from very early on in the rehearsal process was going to be something very special and very memorable. And to tour it all over Ireland, to bring it to audiences in, first of all, Derry, then Belfast, Dublin and Cork, was wonderful to see the different reactions. The audiences absolutely lapped it up, and we had standing ovations every night, and it was just testament to the wonderful piece that Gerald has created in conjunction with the masterpiece that already was The Importance of Being Earnest.
For me, I must say, I was incredibly moved in Derry. I'd never been to Derry before. It's a wonderful place. And the people there were so warm and open. So I was very moved by that. And I was very frightened when it came to Dublin, because, you know, even though I'm from the west of Ireland, a little village, Dublin is kind of my hometown, really. And you always feel most exposed in your own place. And I would feel less frightened, say, in London, and or anywhere else. But in Dublin, you know, you're more exposed, and so that was a little scary. But it was a great success, and you know, I was very, very moved by it. You know.
I think all of us who produce opera in Ireland have a responsibility to engage with younger people, and you know, I was really gratified to see that at The Importance of Being Earnest there was a great contingent of young people. In the north, we had a lot of school children in their performances in the Republic. We had a lot of students. We did a lot of student offers to universities and things like that. And the energy of those people, you could see the vitality of them. They absolutely adored it.
Actually, there was, at the dress rehearsal in Derry, there was a young child who had never been to an opera before. And at the interval, he suddenly cried out that he wanted to know what happened next. You know, and I thought that was, I loved hearing that. I mean, you know, that was a real truth for me, coming from someone like that.
Well, personally, I'd never seen an opera before, and I thought it was all for high-class people. But when I went there, it was different classes from everyone, and it was really interesting, actually. I thought it was just going to be sort of falling asleep and singing, but it was upbeat and very modern.
Well, if you asked me 6 months ago what I thought of opera, it wouldn't be too good of an opinion, because opera's seen as a performance for older people and higher class people. But when I actually went, there was loads of children and loads of people my age.
Prior to my experience of going to see Earnest, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew because it was a professional production that would be of a high class, but it was something different for me because I'm used to just going to see musicals. So, and as I'm very interested in music, so I really enjoyed the experience.
Like as soon as it started, it seemed very different from what I was expecting, and like how Lady Bracknell was played by a man really surprised me because I wasn't expecting that.
It was a very contemporary piece. The music was written very skillfully, I have to say myself. I think it was very well done, but it wasn't what you expected because the ranges, the tones, the pitch, everything, the score was completely different to what an opera is expected to be.
Well, definitely the plates being smashed, it was interesting and did not expect it, so it really shook you. And then the teddy bears being thrown about, that was also very interesting.
The plate smashing scene, well, that's simply an expression of anger, writ large, and it's a moment of intense anger taken to a comical, but choreographed violence. It's very formal violence.
The set design was like a photographer's studio, which was really surprising too, because you wouldn't have thought why would it be set in a photographer's studio.
The use of like sound effects through the megaphone was very surprising, and I thought it really like varied the tones of the different actors, which was very good, I thought.
Well, I would definitely say to people that were considering going to see an opera to just go in with an open mind and just leave all the stereotypes behind, because it's a completely different experience to what you actually think it is.
Yeah, I'd really like to go see more performances of it.
Definitely I'd go see another opera.
Your Christian names are still an insuperable barrier, that is all. Our Christian names, is that all? But we are going to be christened this afternoon. For my sake, you are prepared to do this terrible thing. I am. To please me, you are ready to face this fearful ordeal. I am.
It was really thrilling to be part of such a landmark production, and I think it really bodes well for the future of opera north and south. I think opera has never been more supported in Ireland, and we need to continue to invest in the future of this wonderful art form. For me personally, as an Irish singer, it's wonderful to have the prospects of being able to come home several times a year to hopefully work at home in your own hometown and home country. It's really important.
I think this production of The Importance of Being Earnest really does show us that the example, first of all, of two organisations, one from the north, one from the south, working together to put on a production of the highest quality opens up new opportunities for the health of the art form on the island. Second of all, I think that the talent that's here, the singing talent, the talent in the crash ensemble who provided the orchestra for the production, and also the unsung talent behind the scenes, means that we can take this example of The Importance of Being Earnest, this particular production, and we hope produce work of the same sort of quality in the future too. Finally, I think that the production demonstrated that there really is an audience for risk-taking, challenging, modern work. And I think as long as there is that enthusiastic reaction, the reaction of lots of young people who I saw in the audience in Belfast and Dublin, as long as that audience is there, then I think that opera in Ireland has a bright future.